We're going to have to cut our intro short because, oh my goodness, I was gone. I was gone for what? Half a day. And look what happened. Okay, this is crazy. I'm scrambling to get ready here. The judge and Matthew Terry, we've got a verdict. Is that what I'm hearing? We've got a verdict.
I should pass on the opportunity to.
Okay, I don't even have chat pulled up. I've got nothing here.
So I don't believe that I can order him. I gave him an opportunity to make any additional record that he wishes to, and I will continue to extend that opportunity to him if he wants to change his mind and put anything on the record. But I think that the most important thing is that I ask you, Miss Perry, whether or not you promised him anything. And if that requires me to find a waiver of attorney-client privilege, I find that because he's alleged that you lied to him
bizarre.
In order to get him not to testify in the guilt phase. And so I'm asking you, and I'm finding that it constitutes a waiver. In fact, I'm ordering you to tell me whether you promised Mr. Perry anything in exchange to get him not to testify in the defense case in the guilt phase of this case.
Since I've been ordered, I am permitted to answer. And no, of course I did not.
Okay. All right.
So,
Judge, I apologize, but unfortunately, I don't know that Mr. Terry said that it was Ms. Perry that promised him. I'm just trying to play it out logically.
was there another lawyer?
That's true. All right. All right.
So you could just ask Mr. Terry who it is that made the promise to him.
I would ask that you instead perhaps just inquire of my colleagues if they made any promises. I don't.
Fine. Mr. Kane, did you make any promises to Mr. Terry regarding anything in order to, regarding his decision whether to testify in his case in chief during the guilt phase?
Yes.
You made promises to him?
Yes.
What were those promises?
I promised him that Ms. Perry's closing argument, any theories or any interpretations of the evidence would be based on the admissible evidence, and that she would argue according to the evidence that had been admitted in the case.
Somebody's lying.
That she could make no other
Somebody's
arguments
lying.
except what was supported by that evidence.
Okay.
That is the promise that I made.
All right. Any requests from the state at this point?
Judge, I'm deeply troubled by that answer. When a defense attorney stands up and says, yes, I made promises to a client who is now saying I was made promises and I waived my rights in furtherance of the promise, where Mr. Terry is now,
Matthew?
I believe, if I understand things correctly, Mr. Terry is basically saying there was some agreement as to what exactly the story would be that would be told to the jury in closing, and that is not the story that was told. I don't know that this has clarified this any better.
Judge, I am answering the court's question. All right, there was more to the discussion on whether or not a client is going to testify than just what has been said here. And I don't know if now is the appropriate time to address that when we have the jury waiting to announce their verdict. So I would ask that any concerns that the court has on this issue be undertaken or addressed after we have received this decision by the jury.
Mr. Diaz, any requests from the state regarding clarification? I mean, this is
Honor, I mean,
unbelievable.
You have decided that this constitutes a waiver of attorney-client privilege. It is an odd situation for me to suggest what the court should ask, because I don't know that I'm the appropriate person to ask the questions.
No, I'm asking if you have any suggestions.
Well, I mean,
Laura, this is. I'm going to break this down here in a minute. We're just trying to follow
Judge, if
because this is
attorney-client
breaking
privilege
as
is
we're
waived,
watching.
I
here.
don't understand why you cannot ask the defendant
Yeah.
what it is that he believes he was promised, and then you can ask the attorneys individually, did any of you promise that or anything even remotely in that realm? I mean, this is pretty explosive stuff that is.
Understand.
Yeah,
I agree.
explosive
I
is
agree.
putting
I
it
mean,
lightly.
It's somewhat even uncharted territory. But I
Judge
appreciate
does
your
not like
suggestion.
uncharted
Mr. Terry, I'm
territory.
going to ask you what you were promised.
Sir, there were no theories discussed between my attorneys and myself in respect to any other sequence of events except what I described to them. Therefore, when it was told that everything would be covered in closing,
Jury's not here right now.
I was under the presumption that what I had communicated to them would be
Exactly,
communicated to the court instead of me testifying. So essentially, I looked at it as a way of them portraying what I had spoken to them in respect to the incidents that occurred that night for me in the closing arguments. And I thought the closing arguments were phenomenal up until the description of the incident, which was not accurate at all. Even though, as Mr. Kane described, it may have fit the context of the evidence, it was nothing close to what I had described to any of my attorneys.
All right.
Leanna,
Mr. Kane,
we need
did you
to-
promise
We never-
that?
No, I never promised Mr. Terry, ever, that what he had detailed for us previously would be theorized or argued by Ms. Perry. Never under any circumstances.
Was this a
Okay.
miscommunication?
In fact, my caveat to him was, the promise we can make is that Ms. Perry's argument will be supported by the evidence, and the evidence alone, and her interpretation and reasonable interpretation based on what can be inferred from the admissible evidence.
But,
That is the promise that I
you
made.
did not specifically promise him that her closing argument would contain anything that he expressed to you regarding a theory of the case.
Under no circumstances did I promise that.
Okay, thank
And
you,
I
I
do not
appreciate
believe that Mr. Terry is saying that I made such a promise.
Well, hold on. Miss
This
Terry,
is so
did you
bizarre.
make any such promise to Mr. Terry?
No.
Miss Spradley, did you make any such promise to Mr. Terry?
No.
Judge, I want to be respectful of the fact that we have a jury waiting, I really do, but
I opened this door, but I was concerned about an allegation of a defendant in a death penalty case that not only implied, but appeared to specifically allege that his attorneys had lied to him.
I agree, Your Honor. I mean, that's what I was concerned about at the beginning. He was basically saying, I was promised something, and then they didn't give me what they promised.
Well, but the attorneys have now said that they did not promise that they would provide a version of anything that he relayed to him. They've all said that on the record. Is there anything additional you want me to ask them?
I mean, I thought that when Your Honor came out, and maybe I misinterpreted what you said, and if I did, forgive me, but
Yeah, he
I
does.
thought you were starting this with, you were going to ask the defendant specifically what it is that he thought was going to be said that was not said. If
I said
just-
I can't order him to do anything. I would give him the opportunity if he wished to put anything on the record. I did, after, end up asking him specifically in response to your suggestion that I asked him what he was promised. So that did change. And I asked him, and he told me.
As soon as we get a break, we're going to catch everyone up
I will continue to give
here.
him the opportunity, if he wants to put on the record
He's gonna speak.
what his version is, but his attorneys have specifically indicated, each and every one of them individually, that they did not promise him that they would provide a representation of what his version was in order to get him to waive, to not testify. That's what they've said.
Well, I would ask Your Honor, or at least, I would guess, I would ask Your Honor to tell Mr. Terry that he has this opportunity to say on the record whatever it is, whatever fact, specific fact that he thinks should have been said or was going to be said that
I
was not.
said
he
that
basically
I would
is
and I will.
being able to
And I
testify
also ask that you would
Just for the
clarify with
record.
him,
without being cross-examined.
I guess, why when the closing was done and Ms. Perry sat down, there was no issue raised in that moment.
Judge, the prosecutor may want to question Mr. Terry, but he doesn't have the right to. Those are not appropriate questions. This is not. the
Well, I've
appropriate
already put on the record that he waited, that he didn't say anything about it until now. But I will give him the opportunity. Mr. Terry, if there's anything that you would like to put on the record now, we're making a record for a number of post-trial issues that may be associated with your conviction in this case. So I'm giving you the opportunity now, if you want to say what it is that you believe that they were going to include in their closing argument and did not,
This
and
is
that they
bizarre.
promised
This
you
is-
in
this is
exchange
crazy.
for you testifying, I'm giving you an opportunity to tell us now.
I felt that I was promised that a depiction of the accurate sequence of events as I had witnessed them were going to be portrayed in closing. Possibly not exactly or every single detail, but at least an accurate depiction of what happened that night as I had explained it to him. That was my perception and that was my belief. I have been in discussion with my attorneys about this incident since the end of closing. And today I decided I wanted to raise the issue against their advice. I wanted to raise the issue and at least have the record reflected that I didn't even realize I was promised anything until after closing. And then I realized that that is not what I expected.
Okay, well, there's a big difference between expectations, promises, and the questioning that I gave to you prior to when you told me you had made a decision not to testify. If you didn't realize that you were promised anything before you made that decision, is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. That's
Thank you,
enough.
Your Honor.
Let's get the jury.
Okay. Guys, this is bizarre. Basically, the jury has a verdict. They're waiting in the hall with the envelope with what's going on. Matthew Terry gets in here, stands up and says, Judge, just before we move ahead with this, I just want to say that I lied under oath. I was promised something in return for saying I wouldn't testify during the guilt phase of the trial. And I was promised by my attorney that if I didn't testify, my attorney would tell my story, would tell the events the night my girlfriend died as I told them it occurred, as he says, as I witnessed them. Okay? And so the judge is freaking out. The judge is like, excuse me? First of all, you lied under oath. Why didn't you say anything sooner? And he's like, I've been talking to my attorneys. I'm now bringing it up against their advice with you now to clarify on the record, I was promised something in return for not testifying, which he had specifically said he was not. Okay? It's a big deal. Then we saw the judge basically ask him this question. He says, yes, I was promised. The judge then asks his lawyers, a female lawyer, Perry, I believe her name is, says, no, I didn't. And he's like, well, there we have it. She says, no, you say yes. The prosecutor then says, hey, maybe you should ask the other. He's got more than one attorney there helping him. Ask the other. The other one stands up and judge asks me, he says, yes, I did. He said, I promised him. And then he carefully words this response.
We are. All right, jury in courtroom.
It's bizarre. We're now going straight to the verdict. Okay, so apparently, yes, that might be an issue for appeals. Is it manufacturing an appeal? Is it planned by him and his attorneys? Is he extremely conniving and manipulative? Did he just throw his attorneys under the bus? But either way, he's about to be read his
The
sentence.
jury is present and seated. Everyone else may be seated at this time. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, welcome back. The bailiffs have
52
indicated
minutes
to
they
me that you
debated
have
for
reached
52
a
minutes.
verdict in the penalty phase of this case. I'm going to turn now to Mr. Williams as the foreperson of the jury. Is that in fact correct, Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have the verdict form for the penalty phase?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you please present that to the bailiff? Thank you, sir.
This is definitely odd. This
I
is
will
very odd.
review the verdict. I will then present it to the clerk to be published.
Yeah, super fast. Super fast. You've got to ask that question. Were they planning this?
Mr. Terry, if you will please stand, Mr. Counsel, for the publishing of
Here we
the
go.
verdict.
Strap in, guys. This is it.
State
What a
of
day.
Florida versus Matthew Robinson Terry, case number 22 CF 006969. We, the jury, find as follows as to Matthew Terry in this case. A. Aggravating factors as to count 1. 1. We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has established beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the aggravating factor that Matthew Terry was previously convicted of a felony involving the use or threat of violence to another person. Check only yes or no. Yes was checked. Number 2, we, the jury, unanimously find that the state has established beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the aggravating factor that the first-degree murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. Check only yes or no, and that answer was no. If you answered no to every aggravating factor listed, do not proceed to Section B. B. Sufficiency of the aggravating factors as to count 1. The answer is no. Dated this 17th day of November 2022 in Hillsborough County. Foreperson, signed by the foreperson, WW.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You may be seated. Would either side like the jury polled before they are released by the court?
They won't need that.
No, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that we need to address before the court releases this jury? State?
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense?
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is my final opportunity to address you. And the first thing that I want to say is one of the first things that I said to you 3 weeks ago when we brought you in here. And that is, thank you for your very important civic duty. I indicated to you during jury selection that jury service is one of the most important things that you can do for your country. And I am quoting Abraham Lincoln. You have completed that very important service, and we greatly appreciate you. I know that it wasn't easy. I know that it was long. You've been here now for 3 weeks. Not only do I thank you, but I appreciate you, and I thank you for your patience with us. All of my prior restrictions regarding doing any research about this case, about discussing this case with anyone, I am going to release you of at this time. That means that as you walk out that door in just a moment, you are free to either continue discussing this case amongst yourselves, but also to discuss it with others. It is entirely your decision and your decision alone whether you wish to do that. If you do not want to discuss it with anyone else, you do not have to. Additionally, there is a very special protection that applies to your deliberations, both during the guilt phase and in the penalty phase. That is that you cannot be forced to talk about your deliberations except by court order. Again, though, that is your decision. If you wish to do so, then you may discuss with others your deliberations. As far as everything in the case, anything that may be out there on media, social media, you are free to look at that if you wish. I cannot say it enough, so I am going to say it one last time as I dismiss you from the courtroom, and that is thank you sincerely. All rise for the jury.
Someone's phone's going off as the judge finishes. The jury has just been excused. They are discharged. They are released from all the restrictions that are on them. They can now talk freely about everything that happens. Of course, no one can compel them to talk unless it's a court. But the jury came back and found that it wasn't especially
Jury
heinous.
has exited. Everyone may be seated.
We're looking at life in prison without parole now.
There are no options regarding sentencing. What is the state's request?
Your Honor, we'd ask to proceed to sentencing. The family is here from out of town.
All right. I don't see any reason not to.
Your Honor, can I just have a
Yes.
minute to confer with him?
Yes.
There's no legal reason, defense agrees.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm not sure who's conferring with who, but holy cow. Seriously, guys, I left you guys in charge of everything for half a day, and we've got Daryl Brooks strapped in a wheelchair up in Milwaukee, and we've got fireworks going off in the courtroom here in Florida. A verdict in crazy uncharted territory with Terry throwing his lawyers under the bus at the last minute. At the last minute, saying they promised him something that he did not receive in return for not testifying. In typical Florida jury style, once again, we have a convicted murderer who appears to be showing emotion now. Nope, maybe he just got a little allergy there.
So that the sentencing order is complete, Mr. Terry has 170.
I'm not sure why that got silenced, why we don't have audio here. But anyway, yes, everything fell apart, and it all went downhill. Why was Daryl in a wheelchair? We'll get to that just as soon as this sentence is officially read out by the judge, which there are no options. It is life in prison without parole. That is the only thing the judge can order under the law. You all got over ambitious. This is bizarre. I've never heard of anything like this. The way that Matthew Terry clarified his responses before the judge seemed to be protecting himself from being found to have committed perjury, which is lying under oath, when he told the judge no one had promised him anything, because he said, I didn't realize anyone had promised me anything until after the closing statements. Which basically means, so when you questioned me, I didn't realize they had promised it, which is playing with words.
Christine Empey case, stepmother, would like to address the court at some point if you have a chance. And then otherwise we can proceed as
Yeah,
normal.
absolutely. Anyone who wants to address the court may. We're going to proceed to sentencing at this time, so she may come forward. We'll just put her at the podium
So
there.
we're basically going to
unless
have
she
some
wants to come
impact
down,
statements right now. Just
to the witness stand, wherever she's
immediately.
more comfortable.
Apparently I can never leave. Jill, you're right.
Ben, would you rather stand
You want to go to
here
the
or you wanna
podium, or do
sit?
you want to come sit in the chair?
I'll come sit in the chair.
All right, let me swear you in before you walk over there. If you'll face me and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear affirm any testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you may proceed to the chair. Did you want, I don't see any reason why you can't go with her. This is victim's assistance.
Yes. Can we just maybe set a chair up over here for her? We-
You want to just put that chair right over here? Is that sufficient? Is that all right with you, ma'am? And Mr. Diaz, I apologize. Please state her name again.
Yes, this is Christine Empey.
Empey.
E-M-P-E-Y.
Welcome, Ms. Empey.
Thank you.
I'm going to allow Mr. Diaz the opportunity to ask you questions.
Ms. Empey, just a little bit of background so His Honor understands. You are the stepmother of Kay Baker,
Yes,
and how long have you been her stepmother?
35 years.
All right, so that's the majority of her life.
Yes,
Do you have something you'd like to say here in court?
yes, I do.
Please proceed.
What words did Kay say that night to justify you killing her? How bad could those words be? Did she say, Dad was right? Michelle was right? Was that what got her a death sentence?
The family hated Terry. They didn't like him.
It is very unsettling as a parent to fear for your daughter because of the partner they've chosen. I feared for Kay's life. Her dad feared for Kay's life. And I don't understand why she did not. I hope you fear for your life.
Thank you, ma'am. Let me just see. Mr. Diaz, did you have any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Does the defense have any questions?
No, Judge.
The defense will never ask her any questions. They're not going to go there. Ed, in Florida, it used to be majority for death penalty. Now it is unanimous requirements. So it's a Florida law regarding that. But they only debated for 52 minutes and came back with life in prison. I'm not sure if in that 52 minutes they realized they had a holdout and would not budge,
Yes, Your Honor.
or if they were all just unanimous.
You'd like to address the court?
Ms. Cook, come on down. I'll give you the same choice, Ms. Cook, if you want to stand at that or if you'd like to come down. Let me swear you in here. Do you swear any testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. You'll come all around to the chair.
Yes, so you're right. We have more Florida trials coming, and they're going to be bizarre.
Go ahead and have a seat.
Sarah Boone's going to be unbelievable next year.
Mr. Diaz, do you want to start off with a question?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Ma'am, could you please tell us how you know Matthew Terry?
I was his college girlfriend. We went to different colleges, but we dated almost 20 years ago.
She's the one that got away.
And do you have something you'd like to say here to the court?
I do.
Okay, please go ahead.
Am I allowed to address Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Okay.
Objection, Your Honor. These proceedings are not to be having the witnesses address the defendant directly. The requirement is that they address the court. We didn't
I can do that as well.
All right. Go ahead and address
I can do that as well.
Address me.
Okay. I have sat here this week and listened to everything that has happened, everything that has been said. I have watched the giggles and the laughs and the complete disrespect for a woman's life. That woman is not here today. She has passed away. And I feel like it's a slap in the face, especially when I heard that there were no priors, when you were given instruction that there were. I was not allowed to testify in any of this because I accepted misdemeanors rather than pushing for a trial in felonies. And because of that...
Let me end this for a second, Coach.
I'm going to overrule whatever the objection is. I'll allow it.
If I could just have access to the record, please.
I'm sorry?
If I could have access to the record, please.
You can have it from there.
Yes, the access to the record is that the purposes of these proceedings with providing victim impact, my understanding is that Ms. Kerr is now taking the opportunity to denigrate the defense and to criticize the defense without proper foundation. And we would just object to any further statements about the defense if she would like to confine her victim impact, not fully knowing the relationship that she may or may not have had with Kay Baker. We can then address the appropriateness of her taking a stand and making these remarks.
Your objection is noted. You may proceed.
Ma'am, just a little bit, because I think the judge may not understand what you're talking about. Were you the victim in another case involving Mr. Terry?
Yes, I was.
When was
Overruled.
when was that?
Early 2000s.
And can you just give a brief summary of what happened in that case?
Yes. He broke into my house. I was assaulted. My girlfriend, which was not in a lesbian sense, my friend that was a woman, was also assaulted. And he chased us around the house. When the police came, he pretended to be the victim rather than the assailant. And a lot of the things I heard today regarding Kay's, or not today rather, but this week, were very similar to the things that I endured. And so I did not plan on saying anything today. I did not plan on being a part of this at all. But I feel that Kay deserves that support. She trusted this man wholeheartedly. She has for years. I have known of Kay since we dated. She was a good person. She was a beautiful soul. And she loved this man wholeheartedly and would have done anything for him.
Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
No, that was it.
Thank you, ma'am. Pass the witness.
Any questions?
No questions?
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
This
Mr. Diaz, anyone else?
even if what she said was improper,
That's it for witnesses.
that's not grounds for appeal.
All right, let me see if
because
there's any
it can't
witnesses
change
from
the
the
outcome on
defense.
sentencing, I don't think.
All right. And does Mr. Terry wish to address the court?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, there's only one lawful sentence. I hate to say that you don't have discretion, but you don't have discretion, so I would just ask that you impose the lawfully required sentence.
Anything from the defense?
Nothing further.
All right. Yes, please stand. I guess in one respect it is easy, since Mr. Diaz is absolutely right and that I don't have any discretion.
Judge still gets to talk a little bit, though.
There is only one sentence. What I will say is that I listened to the testimony of Ms. Rogers both during the Williams Rule hearing and during the trial that we've been in here, and additional testimony regarding the charges, the trial, the sentence in Michigan. I don't know what happened in Michigan as far as the trial and the sentence, but based on what I heard, I believe that you should have been in prison in Michigan and that Miss Baker should still be alive. This is Florida. You're going to prison for the rest of your life. I adjudicate you guilty. I sentence you to life in prison. I impose all fines, fees, associated charges, and I advise you that you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence entered against you. Thank you. He has 174 days credit. State, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Okay. That. So life in prison without parole. That's what he gets. The judge, you can tell from his voice, he would have been much happier, much more satisfied reading a death sentence. I think he felt that this case, this defendant deserved that. Now, that's not his place to decide. That's the jury's place to decide. But you can tell he said, my hands are tied on this, but this never should have happened. That you should have still been in jail, in Michigan. And literally some of the evidence that helped get him out was the woman who who testified on his behalf, who was the subject, who's the woman who died in this trial. I mean, in this case, this is bizarre. This is bizarre. Everything that's happened today as well. That's the last time he'll be wearing that suit. He'll change. He's going to change to a new suit with. I'm surprised he's freely walking around. He's not shackled to the ground. That was bizarre to see him walk around. Okay, what are your questions? I'm struggling to find words for just how bizarre and unique and crazy this afternoon was. Well, I stepped away for just a couple hours, guys. Really, could you not hold it down for just a couple hours? Do you think this was a plan by his attorneys, Pauline? I don't think so. Here's why. First of all, Attorney Perry, we found out is a public defender, just extraordinary good at research, extremely good at arguing before the judge for on issues that they're up to his discretion. She is incredible. I do not see her as going this route. This would, if she had actually done that, I think it would be highly inappropriate. Now her counsel, I think the way he answered the question was still within the realms of appropriate, but it blurs a line when he said, yes, I did promise him something if he didn't testify. If he did that, then they should probably advise him to tell the judge, yes, I've been promised something if I don't testify. And that's something that might come back and bite them from a legal perspective on as how they performed in this case. What else do we have? Abby, I'm sorry, it's crazy. Can he get a new trial? Yes, he can. Everyone has the right to appeal when they're found guilty. The judge says you've got 30 days to appeal this ruling. His lawyer earlier on in the case, when they first addressed the Williams rule, which was allowing prior act information in, the lawyer, Ms. Perry, said, Judge, you do this and it will be appealed. And she even went so far as to say it will be upheld on appeal, basically, is what she said. She's like, your decision will be overturned. We're going to have a new trial because of this. Now, I'm not sure if it will be overturned, but they're going to try. He's going to try. But then again, there's a lot of evidence against him and very little for him. So if he does appeal, that puts the death penalty back on the table. If he gets a new trial, he gets another shot at death. Which, in Florida, we've found that Florida juries have not been too keen on handing out death penalty sentences. Let's see. Ed Gein says, are attorneys under oath while in trial, or could they have lied to the judge without being on the stand? Sorry, we've got video going all over the place. Let me take this one. They were under oath as officers of the court. I believe they're required to tell the truth, and that's more like they're always required to function under the law. And the judge found that in this case, he ruled that they had to break attorney-client privilege and tell him if they promised something. So much happened there. So much happened, Churchy. Yes, you missed a lot. I missed a lot. I was gone for a couple hours, and this went crazy. Why is he still sitting here? There's some just the logistic stuff they're going to hammer out. But he's going to the big house. He's getting a nice orange jumpsuit, and he will be there for the rest of his life, barring an appeal. That may or may not happen. We don't know. This is why you aren't supposed to leave class. Bad things will happen. Leave the class. Sorry, Tiffany, I apologize. I've learned my lesson. I really have. I'm pretty sure any appeal will be rejected. I feel that the judge did a great job, that in every decision he made, he was on sound footing, where he had established precedent to base his ruling on. And thanks, Lindsay. So I think the judge feels confident in all the decisions he's made, and I think the record will stand up to the scrutiny of an appeal. Michelle says economic background pays, but then again, if Cruz doesn't get the death penalty, who does? And this bore out. Yep. It was no death penalty yet again out of Florida. Abby, thanks for doing that. Hit the like button. Even if I left for this afternoon, hey, I will tell you, my family had a blast going up to, we helped out at the Salvation Army, just loading some food boxes for next week for Thanksgiving. Found just some amazing people up there that, this is our first time going, but these people work there, day in and day out. Just really good people. Great to make some acquaintances. Went up with some friends that we know and had a good time there. We'll probably go back. My kids enjoyed it. We even got to help with building a balloon arch that they're going to use for a fundraiser next year or next week. So just a fun time to serve there. So thanks for letting me get away for a little while. Took a half a day off. MB says, recovery addict, can a person request the death penalty for themselves? No. In Florida, the judge is not allowed to elevate the sentence beyond what the jury has found it can be. I believe the judge could lower the sentence from death penalty to life, but he can't raise it from life to death penalty. His hands were tied in this case. Once the death penalty is given, if there's a sentence that of death sentence passed on the individual, I believe in states that have multiple forms of a death for being administered, I believe they can select which form they choose. So whether it be electric chair, lethal injection, or in some states firing squad, I believe they can select that. But I don't think they would be able to do that unless they pled guilty at the beginning and wanted to say, I deserve to die, please let me die, type thing. But that doesn't happen very often. Wow. Okay. This has been crazy. He's going to Dodge prison. Pauline, I think you're talking about Dodge prison. That's Daryl Brooks. He's going to Dodge prison. The same prison that names on the tip of my tongue. The gentleman from that was in Colorado Supermax that killed his wife and daughters and put them in the oil. You guys, you'll say it in chat, but he's in that prison as well. He got moved from Colorado up to Dodge prison because he's such a high-profile prisoner. But he's going. Chris Watts. Thank you so much, Roxanne, Mangy, Abby, Ashley. All of you knew what I was thinking of. Karen, you guys are super smart. Thank you. So he's going to the same place. That's where he's going to be. We saw Daryl Brooks in court today. I know. I was shopping. I was leaving the Salvation Army, and I started getting texts on the burner phone. It was just lighting up, just buzz, 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 saying, "Hey, check this out! He's in trial. He's in court right now. He's making his appearance, and you've got to watch this type thing when you get back." And so I started watching immediately, and saw him in the wheelchair. I heard after the fact. Originally, when I went live from the store, I thought maybe it's because he's under suicide watch, and that was my assumption, that they wanted him with that extra protection. But I'm hearing that he was acting up, and the judge ordered him to be put in the chair and brought in. So it sounds like he did not want to participate, which means that judge is probably in for more shenanigans and just court jester type worthy performance from him as that moves forward. I did not hear on the date. I think I heard February 2nd is when Daryl Brooks will be in court for his first case. I wasn't sure if that was right, but that's what. Churchy, is it your son's birthday? Happy birthday to your son. 2 cents. They did not poll the jury. They would have polled the jury had they gone with the death penalty, because that was the higher charge. But where it's the lower charge, there's no need to really say, are you sure you all agree with this? Generally, you don't see them pull the jury on the lower charge, or the lower sentence. Judge was going to do court without him because he didn't want to appear, says Pauline, up there in Milwaukee. Oh, man. I'll have to look up Watts on Discord. Thank you, guys. Yeah, that's a crazy case. That's crazy. There's so much happening right now. Other cases going on. We've got the OnlyFans murder. The OnlyFans model who allegedly murdered her boyfriend. That's going on. We've got the son who dismembered his parents. That trial's going on right now. But yeah, we wrapped up DB and Matthew Terry basically within almost 24 hours of each other. And so now what? What are we going to do tomorrow? Oh man, crazy. See you, Ann. Thanks for being here. Hope the next Florida case is a good one for you, really. OnlyFans did have a hearing today. I believe they were talking about parole for her. She said she wanted to go to Hawaii for like a treatment center or something. It sounds like one of those cushy treatment centers. But yeah, let's see. I'm not sure. She's already got prior history of running away and not coming back. OnlyFans girl in the trial. Yeah, that trial is going to be. It's going to be interesting because some of the evidence that's going to be introduced will definitely not be shown on the live stream. Let's put it that way. It's a lot of explicit material, and unfortunately, there's allegations of a very abusive relationship and everything else, which tends to run with murder cases like this, but. Let's see. What is the 4 kids murdered in Idaho? Is that recent? Are you talking about the Vallow? Is it 4 kids? The Vallows was 2, right? We did have this week. We had Lori Vallow judged competent for trial, so that's going to be moving forward probably early next year as well. Wonder if Brooks will keep his new attorneys. I don't know. You think he's learned enough to be able to really pull off a Sovset defense in this new trial, which I might add is for also running someone over with that same car. That was Erica that he ran over with his car then, prior to the parade incident. The Florida dumpster brother trials coming early next year. Ginger says, am I the only one who's never heard of OnlyFans? Ginger, count yourself lucky. Really, it's the dark underbelly of the internet. It's there's Reddit, and then down below Reddit is OnlyFans, but no, Reddit's not too bad. It's bizarre. There are weird places you can find on there. George, yeah, you got Pike going on for sure. They've had just a super slow process of admitting evidence this week in that trial. Moscow, Idaho, 4 college kids killed with a knife about a week ago. Okay, Katrina, I don't know the details on that one. Obviously, it's probably going to be months before we really get into the trial on that one. It could even be years. But that's obviously something you want to find out a little more about. Chandler, right? He's the one who dismembered his parents. That's going on. We could check out the Pike County Massacre. We could. It takes a lot of catch up to do that. Let's see. There's so many texts I'm getting from you guys. You're blowing up. The burner phone is burning. Let's see what else we've got here. Chandler Halderson's my favorite trial. We might look at that one. Where I haven't followed that one. I know that's the dismembered parents one, right? I don't know where they are at in that trial. As far as what the progress is if we joined tomorrow. There is an OnlyFans case. This is a model on OnlyFans who I believe right now is, from what I've heard, is doing very well on OnlyFans. Is that a rumor? Like her material is, because of the publicity, is reaching more fans type thing. I'm not sure if that's a rumor or not, but Michelle says, if Brooks is still facing charges in other cases, can his sentence be increased to serve additional years? No, not in this case. They're not going to add on in this case, but the other charges, if found guilty, he will be sentenced then, and they'll have to decide at that time if they'll be served concurrently with his current sentence or consecutively. I'm guessing probably concurrently on all these lesser charges. Just came on. What happened? Broadway, you didn't miss much. It's been a slow day, really. Not much happening other than everything. It's been crazy. It's been absolutely bizarre in the Matthew Terry case, with accusations that the Matthew Terry's lawyers lied to him or promised him something, and then Matthew Terry lied under oath when questioned by the judge about whether he was going to testify. And that sort of puts into perspective some of the answers he gave when the judge asked him if he wanted to testify, and he said, "It's my desire to, but I'm not going to," type thing. Crazy. The University of Idaho case is the 4 killed in Idaho. Did they catch the person? Did they catch the person who killed those 4 people in Idaho? Or is that still a search? Toxic. The link for OnlyFans is in the Discord for easy viewing. Click with caution, right? No suspects even yet on the Idaho one, right? So that one's going to be ways off in the distance. Chandler's back in court. Why? I don't know yet, Patricia. Is this on an appeal issue, or let's see, Chandler's trial is over and sentenced. So why do we have him back on the live feed? I'll have to look at that one, seeing what's up with that. I want to pull about Brooks' wheelchair, security versus suicide. Ollie, I thought it was suicide. That's what I said in my outdoor live stream from the supermarket parking lot, but we're getting additional information that he was being uncooperative, and the judge ordered him to be brought in the chair. Suzanne, count yourself lucky for that. Let's see, it's just my favorite to rewatch. I saw someone else mention him. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We have the Spanish teacher murder coming up. Yes, that's also I believe the first one. We've got one in March. Is that March 20th on the Spanish teacher? I'll have to check the calendar on that one. But I think they've split up the two boys charged in the murder of their teacher over that bad grade. Let's see. Trial date of December 12th for DB, postponed to future date. I thought I heard February 2nd for some reason, but maybe not. Okay, yeah, Toxic Orchid. All this information, all these things I don't have the answers to, about the dates, about the cases, about the status. You can find this on the As the Gavel Drops Discord page. If you need that, we can definitely have somebody post that link in chat. Toxic Orchid, Little Miss do a fantastic job keeping that organized and getting new information. And I will put another shout out to if you guys love true crime and love all this information and being able to track it and follow it, please let's have a couple of people boost their server. It costs a couple bucks for a month, and it allows them to have a lot more space to hold files, to hold pictures, to have even voice chat options on that Discord page. It adds a few extra features that will make the whole experience better for them. And just as a thank you for inviting us as a community to participate on their page, that they've done so much hard work, that would really be appreciated. And we're going to try to cover that one. I know it's been difficult. The feed we had before was very poor audio. It was just hearings and a little bit of testimony, but it's all preliminary stuff. But once the jury is selected and things like that, we're going to try to cover that if the judge will allow the cameras in there. Okay. Christy says, recovery addict, it was asked in this chat who else had dismembered their family. So that's how we got into Chandler. Okay, I apologize. I've been reading a lot of things, and my head's just going a million different directions, as it normally does. Karen, I hope a taser was involved. I really do. Or shock shackles or something to that nature. But he, at least he wasn't struggling once he was in the chair, and he was actually quiet, which surprised me. But he did look like at one point he was conversing with his lawyers, with both his mouth moving under his mask and the lawyer appearing to listen. So I don't think he was gagged underneath that mask. They have split up the boys for the Spanish teacher murder. That silly writer, please post. What do we need to post? Is it the Discord page? Because please, Toxic or somebody, you probably already have, because I'm a little bit backed up on chat here. she made like $1 million on OnlyFans. I believe she did. And this just brought more notoriety to her. The Discord perfectly complements this channel. The Discord is amazing. This channel is a mess compared to how organized and complete they've organized everything over there. It's wonderful. You guys will really, you're in for a treat when you join that. Those are brave lawyers that with DB. They're public defenders. You know, they drew the short straw. Really, the judge assigned them, and that's how it worked. Judge told Hollerton he wouldn't leave jail till he died, and then said, "I'll give you the grace you didn't give your parents and allow you to have a proper burial." Oh my goodness. You got to love that. That's what makes it a classic, right? That Silly Writer says, "I need to find you guys on Discord." Toxic, can you throw the link for your Discord in chat one more time for the Silly Writer? We'll see if we can get him over there and get him acclimated to the Discord environment. It's really good. Kicksbrew says, "You rock, Recovery Addict." My only regular go-to on YouTube. Thank you. You guys are amazing. I appreciate all the tips for all. I'm not talking about money tips. All the little texts I get when you're like, "Hey, just FYI, this is going on. This is happening," keeping me on my toes and letting me participate, in the minute and share it with you. That has been amazing. I also appreciate the tips. Those who have donated and are buying the mugs and everything, and the true crime addicts out there that supported me financially as well. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Okay, good night. It's been fun, right? I don't think we have anything else we need to do tonight. I've got some homework, obviously, to look into what we're going to do tomorrow. It might be Pike. We'll see what else is happening. It might be OnlyFans. I don't know if that's going to continue tomorrow or not. But wow, I might just need to lay down and just take in what's happened in these last 48 hours. It's been bizarre. Thank you for coming back and keeping an eye on us. Hey, thanks for keeping me in the loop so I can experience this last little bit live with you. That was really, really good. Laura says, "I'm not ready to say goodbye." I know, but the time has come, right? I've got this meeting tonight. It's actually not for another hour or two, but I've got to get ready for that and trying to get ready for tomorrow. I've got a lot of things to get ready for Saturday's Weekend Recovery show. And so thank you. Hugs all around from Abby and everyone. Virtual hugs for everyone in the group. Give real hugs to those people you love who are around you, and smile at somebody, make their day better. Until then, be safe. We will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Here in the court of public opinion. I am Recovery Addict. You guys are just addicts, but I'm so glad you're here. Together we will get better. Take care, Scott. Enjoy your wife and family. I will. I'll tell you, when we go shopping, it is bizarre. We buy cheese like 15 pounds at a time. We buy 8 gallons of milk a week. It's crazy. If you see us leaving the grocery store, you think we're buying enough food for a summer camp. But my 6 kids, they eat. Awesome, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping in here at no notice. Be safe. We'll see you in the morning.